Well, welcome to this tutorial. It has been pleasure guiding you through understanding these elements of Microsoft Excel. This tutorial endeavors to cover how to design a payroll, and in that payroll we expect to be able to do a number of calculations, because a payroll is simply a sheet that shows how much you are paying maybe your client, that is the one who is working for you, and how much are you retaining, probably in terms of the taxes and what have you. So as you can see, this is the title of our company. It is TIC Technologies. This is the payroll for the November 2025. We have all these different fields that you can see. The most important field that I want you to look at, I know you'll be able to develop your own as you follow this platform. There are things that like this one you can be able to enter at your own time, even these ones, and this is possible. Even the basic pay, we can be able to enter it. Of course, it's already pre-populated, but I would want to show some few things as you do the calculations, just to deepen our understanding of how to do these calculations. Look at here, we have some allowances here, we have another allowance here, we have the gross pay here, how much you will be now paying the person who in terms of the total amount. I would want to wrap this text so that I have it looking like that. We have the tax rate, and then we have the tax, and then we have the net pay. So this is where we want to concentrate, but allow me just to take you through something here, the gender and disability. Gender has the two values, either male or female. We have the disability having either disabled or not. So I would want to use a list so that I only select from the list rather than typing. So how to do that? We would want to click here at gender, and then we will go to data. And while you are there, I would want you to click on this validation. This validation, you want to circle invalid data, So let's click on validation, and here we do our setting. During our settings, we take care of some things. One of the things that we are doing here is we want to have a list, and in this list we have to give the source. So here I would want us to have a male, in caps, male, and then female. So male or female, that is how you do it, and you separate your values using a comma. And once I click OK, you already see there is a drop down arrow here. So when I click on this, I am able to populate my data. So I would want just to autofill this so that I don't have to type, I don't have to re-enter what I have done on the other end. So I'll be able to select like Kitio Amos, this is a male, Maura Kanjama, this is a male, Katsuzaki, this is a female, Mohammed, that is a male, this is a female. Doesn't really matter. I mean, I don't have to follow what you, in Kenya here, the names tell whether this is a man or female, but sometimes I think that norm is also being broken. So with this, you are simply able to do your calculations. Now, well, that's okay. So what about disability? I want you to try and see if you're able to do that, where here you're going to go in and say yes or no. So again, you would go to the data validation. That is the right procedure, and then you will enter your values on a list. So you click on here, then we would want to say we have a list, and to that list we want to have yes, comma, we have no, just like that, and then we say okay. So right now, if I click on here, I have those two values. So maybe let's say this is we autofill. I wanted us to autofill even before we do that, but now we're already having a yes, but we can still change. So let's say this one is no, this one is no. I want you to see now tax in many countries the status of tax payment is dependent on whether you are disabled or not. When I say disabled, I simply mean people who live with their disabilities, PWDs. So there is a very important concept that I need to introduce you, basing my arguments on this particular line, this particular column here. Maybe let me just highlight the column. Based on this column, let me make it look like it is a table. Well, we can actually tabulate our data. So what we do, we select this way. Let's make it look like a table. And then you come to insert, and then you click on the table, and then you say your table has got headers, and they say okay, yes. So that is how it looks like now. That is on a table. Now, still you can be able to see this is the address of basic pay, that is for commuter allowance, this is for house allowance, and so on and so forth. So you'll be able to navigate through this panel. What I wanted us to do is to determine the tax rate based on the disability, which I have tried to highlight here. Let me try to change something, some coloration there. Let me just have it as bluish like others, but you can see. So what do? It is quite simple. So we will come here onto the tax rate, that is 04, is it? Yes, it's 04. And then we are going to tell it to do something. We are going to tell it to do something. What do you want it to do? To weigh the situations and give us the right thing, like determine the rate of the tax. So here we would click on this field, and then we come here and say more functions. We want to use a if statement, so that is if statement, and we are saying we want to check at this field here, which is E. Just click on it. It is logical test at disability. Now that is according to the table, and then we are saying if this is equals to, we now quote because it's a string, so you have to quote. If it is equals to yes, then we are going to say that we are going to charge a percent of 5% in terms of taxation. If it is no, we are going to charge 20% in terms of taxation, and you just click on that, and you can see the entire table is now populated because we were actually using the column header here. So that is it. You would realize that where you are seeing 20 means that person is not disabled, but when I say disabled, like let me change here, it is changing the value. So that is the beauty of Excel. You can be able to automate most of your functionalities. Now the tax would be the same as this actually is in terms of percentage. We can actually highlight all of them and then just change here and say they are percentages. Not really, that would be a that would not be able to give us what we want if we change it to percentage at the moment, but let's know that that is in terms of a percentage. This is in terms of percentage, so percentage of this basic pay. So let's enter some basic pay, because actually you tax the basic pay, the commuter and house allowance, so that you have a gross pay. So we're gonna take 5% of that, and then that will be taxed. So let's enter some values here. Maybe this person is earning around 43,000 at group 10. That is almost the same. At 9, maybe this guy is earning 45,600. At this is 5200, 5200, like that. At 10, that was 43,000. At 8, that was 52,000. At 7, this is believed to be around 54,000. Then we have at 9 again, that will be 45,600. At C4, that will be 63,000. Then at 5, that is around maybe 56,000. 56,000. And then this is around 55,000. Okay, so those are the values you've entered here, but we want to use these values to determine how much we are going to pay in terms of the taxes. So we are just entering some values here for the commuter allowances, and this is a standard rate of 4,500 across. So I would want to use auto-filling, pull it downwards like that. The house allowance is set at 23,000 for everyone, irrespective of the job group in this company. Now, the gross pay would be the same as this plus this plus this. So simply do this auto sum, and then you do that. So you have the values already populated, because that is what the system does when you have a table. There is a reason why you are seeing this kind of greenish or bluish. The reason why you see that is to tell you that there is something that you need to look at. And the reason here is simple. Just look at this. It's telling us that their adjacent values have adjacent cells have values that we need to look at. But you see, that is what we need. So let's ignore those errors. Because they are not genuine. So ignore those errors. You would be able to do that and you ignore all of them, but they are still working. So this tax is a percent of let's say it is percent of gross pay. So we are doing a percent of gross pay. So percentage of the gross pay. How then do we calculate this? It's very simple. You take this 5 as a percent, 5% of the gross pay. So this would be this, I would say, is equals to, then we say gross pay, that is multiplied by this value here, which is tax rate. Divide that value by 100, because percentages are always in terms of 100. And there you have it. It has computed it without a lot of struggle of auto-filling and pulling. It just takes it that way. And for sure, things are moving. I mean, you don't have to really struggle with this. I am loving it. So now, how do you do the net pay? The net pay is simply, now you take the gross pay minus. What are you minusing? Minus the tax, because that is what is coming out of us. So let's do it very simple, faster. You'll be just say equals to, and then you say the gross pay minus the tax rate. The tax, yes, the tax, minus the tax. And you hit, and there you have. So just like that, we have been able to make a payroll. And I would actually advise you to use a table, because a table automates most of the actions that you do. And if you follow the steps I have outlined, just as I have said, now you have been able to make your own payroll. Congratulations, and keep sharing, like it, bring more people so that we learn together. Great.